Okay, what we'll be discussing next is how atom can change to an ion. Okay, now please take note, jot down now, write this down. An atom becomes an ion when it loses or it gains an electron. An atom becomes an ion when it loses or gains what? An electron. When it loses or gains electron. So the loss or gain of an electron by an atom is what makes it an ion. Okay, remember an electron is what? Negatively charged. Okay, let's take for instance oxygen. Oxygen atom. Oxygen atom. So from the previous video, I explained that oxygen has 8 protons. That means the atomic number of oxygen is what? Is 8. So if atomic number of oxygen is what? Is 8. It means the electron number is also what? 8. That is if oxygen is a neutral atom. Alright? If oxygen is what? A neutral atom. So let's try to draw the structure. For the first shell, you have 2 electrons here. For a neutral oxygen, is having 8 electrons. So let us fill the electrons into the shells of oxygen. So the first shell, which is 2 electrons, remember this first shell usually contains 2 electrons. I don't know if you have idea of this thing I am doing here. If you don't have idea, of course, we'll still get to the topic, so we'll get to be discussing the electronic configuration of elements. Okay, so the first is 2, while the other one is next shell is supposed to contain 8. But after we have already filled in, remember we are drawing that of oxygen, we have already filled into remaining 6 to complete 8, which is the atomic number and also the electron number, right? So we're having 6 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you count everything, it gives you 8, and this is the 8. Now this is oxygen atom. Now when this oxygen atom goes into reaction with something like let's say it goes into reaction with another compound. Now something would happen here. Under normal circumstance, listen, there is always a tendency for an atom to gain a stable duplex or octet structure. What do I mean by that? When you are drawing the electronic configuration of every atom, all right, the first shell is supposed to contain 2 electrons. Second shell is supposed to contain what? 8 electrons. But when you check that of oxygen is only having 6 electrons at the outermost shell. Now listen, take note of this. The electrons in the outermost shell of an atom is known as the valence electron, right? While that outermost shell is what you call the valence shell. That is, the electron in the valence shell is called the valence electron. So when you check the valence electron of oxygen, you can see that the number of electrons that is supposed to be accommodated in this valence shell is not complete. It's supposed to be 8, but we are having 6. Why are we having 6? Because this neutral atom of oxygen is 8 protons, and because it is 8 protons, it's supposed to be what? 8 electrons. So when we feed the electrons into the shells of oxygen, we have 2 electrons in the first shell. The second shell is supposed to be 8, but after we have already filled in 2 here, remaining 6, we have accommodated the 6 in this in the valence shell. So everything is 8. That means we still need 2 more for this to be complete, for it to attain a stable octet structure. Octet means 8. For it to reach its limit, which is 8, it needs what? 2. So when it goes into reaction with another element, it will tend to gain that 2 electron it needs to fill this shell. It will gain that 2 electron. Okay, let's say it goes into reaction with something like calcium. Calcium is having how many electrons? It has like people cannot offer for 9 subjects. Many African students play soccer. Come and play card. The last C there is for calcium. Potassium, calcium. Calcium is number 20. That means the proton number of calcium is 20, and the electron number of calcium is also what? 20. Neutral atom. Okay. So if it's 20, remember, let's draw this string atomic structure. First shell contain 2 electrons, the way we fill the 2 electron here, out of 20. If it's containing 2, the second shell will contain 8. So we having 10 already. We need 10 more, right? Yes. Third shell will still have 8. Everything making 18, remaining 2. This is the 2 electrons at the outermost shell. So if they ask you for calcium, what is the valence electron? How many valence electron does calcium have? So if they say what is the valence electron, they are telling you to tell us the number of electrons in the valence shell. This is the first shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell. So first shell, that is the last shell of calcium now. So that is what you call the valence shell, and the electron in this last shell is what you call the valence electron. Please take note of it. So if in any question they ask you what is the valence electron of calcium, after you have done this, the number of electrons in the last shell, that is the answer. So for instance, if they ask what is the valence electron of carbon, carbon is what? It has slight brain but can. The first C is carbon, 6. The proton number of carbon is 6. The atomic number is 6, right? It means the electron number is also what? 6. So let us fill it into the shells. Since it's 6, carbon 6, right? So we're having the first shell 2, remaining 4. Put it here. So it's just having 2 shells. The first shell 2 complete. Second shell is 4 electrons. So it means the valence electron of carbon is what? 4. 4 valence. Carbon is having 4 valence electrons. 4 valence electrons. So I believe you understand what they mean by valence electrons. So now look at this, comparing this oxygen and this carbon. If these both compounds or these both elements go into reaction, now look at this. You see these 2 that this oxygen is lacking. All right, these 2, it will tend to gain that 2 electron from this. This one is willing to gain 2. It's having 6 already. It's willing to gain 2 so that it would complete 8. Why this one needs, this one needs 6. This one needs 6 electrons to complete 8. It's having 2, it needs 6. This one has 6, it needs 2. If the both of them go into reaction, which one do you think would volunteer to give? Did you think it would be much more easier for this one that is having 6, this one to give this one 6? Or it's much more easier for this one to give this one 2? You see, it is easier for this calcium to give oxygen 2 than for this one to be giving this one 6. One of them will have to lose electron while the other one will gain electron. So it is better that this one gain 2 electron while this one lost 2 electron, because this one has the smallest number of electron at the outermost shell. So the one that has the smallest number of electron at the outermost shell will be the one that will lose electron, while the one that has more electrons at the outermost shell will be the one that will gain. So in this case, this becomes the acceptor, electron acceptor. And this one is what? The electron donor. So these 2 electrons will come and fill this space. So there's nothing here again. Okay. Now, if this fills this place, this one will no longer be oxygen atom. It will now be oxygen ion. Okay, ion telling you that it has gained. It will now be something like this, 2 minus. Meaning that oxygen has gained 2 electrons, 2 minus, it has gained 2. Whenever an atom gains an electron, it carries a negative charge. Okay, so it has gained 2 electrons. So like this, oxygen is no longer a neutral atom here. It is now what? A negative atom, because it has gained more electrons. So the total number of electrons here now will now be what? It is no longer 8. If you count everything, it becomes what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 electrons. All right? 10 electrons. So in this case, oxygen is no longer a neutral atom because the number of electrons has exceeded the number of proton. The number of proton here is still 8, but the number of electron has gone up to what? To 10, because it has gained more electron. So it is now a negatively charged atom, and that makes it an ion. It has gained 2 electrons. While in this case of calcium has lost 2 electrons. Calcium has lost 2 electrons. to become an ion. But in this case, it becomes what? A positive ion. Why is it a positive ion? Initially, the proton number of calcium is 20, but now it has lost 2 electrons. Remember, electrons are negatively charged. It has lost 2 negative charges. If it's lost 2 negative charges, it means the number of proton, which is T20, is now more than the number of electron. Electron and proton, initially they were 20-20, but now 2 electron has gone. So that means electron is now 18 here. Why proton number still maintain what? 20, its value 20. So it is a positively charged atom as it is now. It's no longer a neutral atom, but rather a positively charged ion. Why? Because it has lost 2 electrons. Whenever an atom lost 2 electrons, it carries a positively charged. It is a positively charged atom because it has lost 2 electrons. Whenever it gains, it is what? Negatively charged. Whenever it's lost, it is what? Positively charged. So do you understand the concept of loss and gain of electron now?